You are Kensu, a name whispered by your mother, meaning traveler or wanderer, though your feet have known little beyond the fertile banks of the Nile. Your world, for as long as you can remember, has been defined by the rhythmic ebb and flow of the great river, the annual inundation that brings life-giving silt to the fields, and the relentless cycle of planting and harvest. You are 20 years old, strong of limb and broad of shoulder, a son of the Fellahin, the farmers who toil in the rich black earth of Kemet, the Black Land. Your village, a cluster of mud brick homes baking under the relentless Egyptian sun, lies nestled amidst fields of swaying wheat and flax, a small, humble speck in the vast, ancient kingdom. For generations your family has worked this land, their lives dictated by the seasons and the will of the gods. You know the feel of the cool, damp earth between your toes as you plant seeds, the ache in your back from bending under the sun, the satisfying weight of a full basket of grain. Your hands are calloused, your skin tanned dark, and your eyes, accustomed to the vast, open skies, often gaze towards the horizon, where the desert begins its endless stretch. But lately, the horizon has held a new, imposing silhouette. Far to the west, barely visible on clear days, a colossal structure is rising. It is a pyramid, one of many, but this one feels different, larger, more ambitious than any before. Whispers travel down the Nile, carried by traders and messengers, of the pharaoh's grand vision, of a monument to dwarf all others, a stairway to the heavens for the divine ruler. And with these whispers come the calls for labor. You hear them first from the village elders, then from the scribes who arrive, papyrus scrolls in hand, to tally the able-bodied men. It is not a choice, not truly. It is a duty, a sacred obligation to the Pharaoh, who is a living God. Your family, though saddened, understands. The harvest is in, the fields are resting, and the call for the great work must be answered. You are young, strong, and unmarried. You are precisely what they need. The morning you depart is cool, the air still heavy with the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. Your mother presses a small, dried fig into your hand, her eyes glistening. Your younger siblings cling to your legs, their faces a mixture of awe and fear. Your father, his face etched with the lines of 1,000 harvests, places a hand on your shoulder, a silent blessing. Work hard, Kensu, he murmurs, his voice raspy, and return to us when the work is done. You join a procession of men from your village and neighboring communities, a river of humanity flowing towards the desert. Each man carries a small bundle, a change of linen, a water skin, a few dried provisions. The mood is a strange mix of apprehension and pride. You are leaving the familiar comfort of your home, the predictable rhythm of agricultural life, for something unknown, something monumental. You are going to build a mountain of stone for a god. The journey takes several days. You walk along the dusty paths that parallel the Nile, occasionally catching glimpses of the river itself, teeming with life. You pass other villages, their inhabitants gazing at your procession with a mixture of respect and pity. You sleep under the vast, star-dusted sky, the desert wind a constant companion, carrying the scent of sand and distant fires. Each day, the silhouette on the horizon grows larger, more defined, a stark, geometric shape against the blue. It is both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a testament to human ambition and divine power. As you draw closer, the scale of the undertaking becomes overwhelming. The air hums with activity, a cacophony of shouts, the rhythmic thud of mallets, the creak of ropes, and the distant, grating sound of stone against stone. The landscape is transformed. No longer pristine desert, it is a sprawling, temporary city of tents, workshops, and ramps, teeming with thousands upon thousands of men. You see laborers from every corner of Kemet, their diverse dialects mingling in a babel of sound. You are directed to a section of the camp designated for new arrivals. Here, scribes, their faces stern and unyielding, register your name, your village, your family. You are assigned to a work gang, a unit of 20 men, each under the command of a foreman. Your foreman, a grizzled man named Hori, with eyes that have seen too many sunrises and too many stones, gives you a curt nod. "Welcome, Kensu," he says, his voice rough. "Tomorrow, the work begins. And the work, my friend, never truly ends." That night, you lie on your straw mat in the crowded tent, the unfamiliar sounds of the camp surrounding you. The stars, usually a comforting blanket, seem impossibly distant, dwarfed by the looming shadow of the nascent pyramid. You think of your village, of your family, of the gentle rhythm of the Nile. A knot of fear tightens in your stomach, but beneath it, a flicker of something else, a strange, nascent pride. You are Kensu, the farmer's son, and you are here, at the heart of the great work. Your hands, accustomed to the soft earth, will now touch the unyielding stone. Your life, once defined by the seasons, will now be measured by the rising courses of the Pharaoh's eternal home. The sun will rise tomorrow, and with it, your new life as a pyramid builder will truly begin. The first rays of the sun, sharp and unforgiving, pierce the eastern sky, painting the desert in hues of orange and gold. You are already awake, roused by the insistent shouts of the foreman and the cacophony of the camp coming to life. The air is thick with the dust of thousands of shuffling feet, the smell of cooking porridge, and the nervous energy of men preparing for another day of monumental labor. Your first meal is simple, a bowl of coarse barley porridge, perhaps a piece of flatbread, and a sip of water. It is enough to quell the immediate pangs of hunger, but you know it will not sustain you through the long hours ahead. Your body, accustomed to the steady rhythm of farm work, is about to learn a new kind of exhaustion. Hori, your foreman, is already barking orders. He is a man of few words, his authority conveyed through his piercing gaze and the heavy stick he occasionally taps against his leg. Your gang, the Strong Bulls, is assigned to the quarries today. The quarries are a vast, gaping maw in the desert, miles from the pyramid site itself. The journey there is long and dusty, a procession of men and donkeys, each step raising clouds of fine sand that cling to your skin and clog your throat. When you arrive, the scale of the operation is staggering. Thousands of men are already at work, chipping away at the bedrock. The air vibrates with the sound of hammers striking stone, a relentless, percussive symphony of human effort. You are handed a copper chisel and a heavy wooden mallet. Your task, for now, is simple, yet backbreaking: to split the softer limestone from the quarry face. You learn quickly that pyramid building is not about brute strength alone, but about technique, rhythm, and endurance. You strike the chisel, not with wild abandon, but with a precise, controlled force, aiming for the natural fissures in the rock. The copper, though harder than bronze, dulls quickly, and you learn to recognize the signs, taking it to the smithy for resharpening during a brief respite. Your hands ache, blisters form and burst, and your muscles scream in protest. The sun climbs higher, beating down with an intensity you've never known in the open fields. Sweat streams down your face, stinging your eyes, mingling with the ever-present dust. The midday break offers a brief reprieve. You squat in the meager shade of a rock outcrop, sharing a meager meal of bread, onions, and perhaps a dried fish with your fellow gang members. You learn their names, their villages, their stories. There is Menkor, a quiet man from the Delta, whose family grows papyrus. There is Imhotep, a boisterous fellow from a village near Memphis, who boasts of his strength. You find a strange camaraderie in shared suffering, a bond forged in sweat and sun. The afternoon is even hotter, the work more grueling. The sun feels like a physical weight on your shoulders. You learn to conserve your energy, to breathe through your mouth to avoid the dust, to take sips of water whenever Hori allows. The overseers, identifiable by their finer linen and the whips they carry, patrol the quarry, their eyes sharp, ensuring no man falters for long. You see men collapse from exhaustion, carried away by stretcher-bearers. You see others, less fortunate, fall victim to falling stones or errant tools. The work is dangerous, and life is cheap. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the western sky in fiery reds and purples, a collective sigh of relief sweeps through the quarry. The day's work is done. You join the weary procession back to the camp, your body screaming for rest, your mind dulled by fatigue. Back in the tent, you collapse onto your mat. Your muscles twitch, your head throbs, and the taste of dust lingers in your mouth. You force yourself to eat the evening meal, a slightly more substantial portion of stew, before falling into a deep, dreamless sleep, only to be awakened by the first light of dawn, ready to repeat the cycle. This is the daily grind, the relentless rhythm of the pyramid builder. It is a life stripped bare, reduced to fundamental needs: work, food, water, sleep. There is little room for thought, for dreams, for the gentle rhythms of your former life. You are a cog in a colossal machine, a single, expendable hand in the service of an immortal ambition. You are Kensu, and the stone is your master now. Days bleed into weeks, weeks into months. The quarry becomes a familiar, brutal landscape. You learn to distinguish the different grades of limestone, the softer outer layers used for the core, the finer, harder white limestone reserved for the casing blocks. Your body, though constantly aching, grows stronger, more resilient. Your hands, though scarred, develop a new kind of dexterity with the chisel and mallet. One morning, Hori announces a change in your gang's assignment. "No more chipping, strong bulls," he grunts. "Today, you join the transport teams. The blocks must move." A ripple of anticipation, mixed with dread, passes through the gang. Moving the colossal stones is the most dangerous and arduous task of all. You are led to a section of the quarry where massive blocks, already cut and roughly shaped, lie waiting. These are not the small pieces you've been working on, but behemoths, weighing many tons. Your gang is assigned to a single block, perhaps 2 cubits high, 3 cubits wide, and 5 cubits long, a formidable mass of stone. The method of transport is simple, yet ingenious in its scale. You learn that the Egyptians do not use wheels for these massive blocks, as the soft desert sand would bog them down. Instead, they use sledges, heavy wooden platforms with runners, designed to slide across the ground. But even a sledge with a stone weighing several tons will not move easily. Your first task is to prepare the path. Ahead of the sledge, a team of men works tirelessly, leveling the ground, removing obstacles, and, crucially, wetting the sand. You learn that by pouring water onto the sand, it creates a surface that is both firmer and more slippery, significantly reducing friction. You take your place in the line, passing heavy jars of water from hand to hand, pouring it precisely where the foremen indicate. The sun bakes the wet sand, turning it to a muddy paste that clings to your feet. Then comes the real labor. You are assigned a rope, a thick, braided papyrus rope, part of a vast network of ropes attached to the sledge. You take your position with your gang, shoulder to shoulder with dozens of other men, all facing the same direction. The foreman, perched on the sledge or standing beside it, shouts commands. "Heave! Pull! For the pharaoh!" The first pull is agonizing. Your muscles strain, your feet dig into the wet sand, and the rope bites into your shoulder. The block does not move. The foreman curses, the overseers crack their whips, and the shouts intensify. You pull again and again, your breath coming in ragged gasps. Slowly, agonizingly, the sledge begins to creak, to groan, to inch forward. The movement is not continuous. It is a series of jerks, pauses, and renewed efforts. Each time the sledge stops, you brace yourself, waiting for the next command. The men in front of you, those directly pulling the heaviest load, are soaked in sweat, their faces contorted with effort. You learn to synchronize your breathing with the collective effort, to find a rhythm, a shared grunt that helps to unify the immense human power. The journey from the quarry to the pyramid site is a grueling ordeal. It can take days, even weeks, to move a single large block. You sleep beside the sledge, guarding it, your dreams filled with the endless pull of ropes and the grating sound of stone. You learn to read the subtle shifts in the sand, to anticipate the foreman's commands, to understand the physics of leverage and friction through sheer, brute experience. You witness incredible feats of engineering. You see how they use ramps, built of rubble and mud brick, to raise the blocks higher and higher up the pyramid's face. You observe the skilled masons, working with precision, shaping the casing stones to fit seamlessly, their surfaces polished to a blinding white. You see the sheer organizational genius required to coordinate thousands of men, hundreds of sledges, and countless tons of stone. One day, your gang is assigned to a block for the inner chambers, a piece of granite, harder and heavier than the limestone. The effort is monumental. You feel your body reaching its absolute limit, your lungs burning, your vision blurring with sweat and exhaustion. But you do not stop. You cannot stop. The collective will of thousands of men, the divine command of the Pharaoh, the very weight of the stone itself, propels you forward. As the block finally slides into its designated position, a small, almost imperceptible click, a wave of exhaustion and exhilaration washes over you. You have moved a mountain. You have contributed to something eternal. You are Kensu, a pyramid builder, and you have made the stone journey. Your hands, once accustomed to the soft earth, now bear the marks of granite and limestone, a testament to the colossal effort you have poured into the very heart of Kemet. The pyramid site is not merely a construction zone. It is a sprawling, self-contained world, a temporary city built to serve the monumental ambition of the pharaoh. As a pyramid builder, your life revolves around the workers' village, a meticulously organized settlement designed to house and sustain the thousands of men dedicated to the great work. Your tent, a simple canvas structure stretched over wooden poles, is one of hundreds, arranged in neat rows. It offers little privacy, shared with your gang members, the air thick with the scent of unwashed bodies, stale food, and the ever-present dust. Your possessions are few: a straw mat, a worn linen tunic, a waterskin, and the small, dried fig your mother gave you, now a shriveled, precious talisman. Life in the village is rigidly structured, a stark contrast to the fluid rhythms of your farming life. The day begins before dawn, signaled by the blare of a horn or the shouts of overseers. After a meager breakfast, you march to the work site. The work is relentless, broken only by a short midday meal and the occasional, brief respite for water. Evenings are for rest, for eating, and for the brief, precious moments of human connection. Your diet, though monotonous, is carefully managed to provide the necessary calories for such strenuous labor. You receive daily rations of coarse barley bread, often baked in communal ovens, onions, garlic, and sometimes a piece of dried fish or meat. Beer, a thick, nutritious brew, is a staple, providing hydration and a small amount of sustenance. Water, though rationed, is crucial, brought from the Nile by a dedicated corps of water carriers. You learn to savor every drop, to distinguish between the sweet taste of fresh water and the slightly brackish taste of water from older storage jars. Despite the hardship, there is a sense of order and provision. The pharaoh's administration, meticulous in its organization, ensures that food, tools, and medical care are available. You see scribes constantly at work, tallying rations, recording labor, and maintaining meticulous records of every aspect of the project. There are bakers, brewers, butchers, and cooks, all working to feed the vast workforce. There are even doctors, or at least skilled healers, who attend to injuries, broken bones, lacerations, and the ever-present threat of heat stroke. You witness the crude but effective splints they fashion, the herbal poultices they apply, and the grim determination with which they fight to keep men alive and, if possible, return them to work. Evenings are a time for communal life. After the evening meal, men gather in small groups, sharing stories from their villages, recounting the day's triumphs and frustrations, or simply sitting in silent exhaustion. You learn to play simple games with pebbles or bones, to listen to the tales of older men who have worked on other pyramids, their voices raspy with experience. There are no women in the main workers' camp. Family life is left behind in the villages. This absence creates a unique male camaraderie, a bond of shared sacrifice and hardship. For entertainment, there are occasional storytellers, their voices weaving tales of gods and heroes under the vast, star-filled sky. Sometimes, a musician will play a simple flute or lute, its mournful notes drifting across the camp. These moments are precious, offering a brief escape from the relentless physicality of the work, a reminder of the cultural richness that exists beyond the stone. You also learn about the social hierarchy within the workers' village. At the top are the overseers and scribes, followed by the skilled craftsmen, the masons, sculptors, and carpenters, who command higher status and better rations. Below them are the general laborers, like yourself, organized into gangs. At the very bottom are the unskilled laborers, often new recruits or those assigned to the most menial tasks. While all are working for the pharaoh, the distinctions are clear. Life in the workers' village is a test of endurance, both physical and mental. The monotony can be soul-crushing, the dangers ever present. But it is also a place where bonds are forged, where resilience is cultivated, and where the sheer scale of human organization becomes a visible, tangible reality. You are Kensu, a small part of a vast machine, living a life stripped bare, yet contributing to something that will outlast generations. In the ancient land of Kemet, the pharaoh is more than a king. He is a living god, the embodiment of Horus on earth, destined to become Osiris in the afterlife. The pyramid, you learn, is not merely a tomb, but a cosmic engine, a colossal machine designed to facilitate the pharaoh's journey to the stars, ensuring the continued prosperity and order of the entire kingdom. This understanding, though often abstract, permeates every aspect of your life as a pyramid builder. The work is not just labor, it is a sacred duty, an act of piety. You are told this by the priests who occasionally visit the site, their voices resonating with authority, their words filled with divine pronouncements. They explain that by building this monument, you are not only serving the pharaoh but also contributing to Ma'at, the cosmic order, the balance and harmony of the universe. Your sweat, your toil, your very life force, is an offering to the gods, ensuring the annual inundation of the Nile, the fertility of the land, and the well-being of all Kemet. This belief system, deeply ingrained in Egyptian society, provides a powerful psychological framework for the immense effort demanded of you. It transforms backbreaking labor into a spiritual endeavor. When a block refuses to budge, when your muscles scream in protest, you are reminded that this is for the pharaoh, for the gods, for the very continuation of your world. The overseers, too, invoke the pharaoh's name, not just as a threat, but as a source of divine authority. For the glory of Pharaoh! They shout, and the men pull harder, driven by a mixture of fear, reverence, and a profound sense of duty. You witness the elaborate rituals performed at various stages of construction. Priests in their white robes, their heads shaven, offer incense and prayers at the base of the rising structure. Sacrifices are made, offerings of food and drink laid out for the gods and for the spirits of the deceased. These ceremonies are not just for the pharaoh, they are for you, the workers, to ensure your safety, to bless your efforts, and to imbue the very stones with divine power. You participate in these rituals, chanting along with the priests, feeling a sense of connection to something larger than yourself, something eternal. The pyramid itself is a symbol of this divine purpose. Each course of stone, each precisely placed block, brings the pharaoh closer to the heavens. You learn that the pyramid's alignment with the cardinal points, its internal passages, and its burial chambers are not arbitrary. They are carefully designed to reflect the cosmos, to guide the pharaoh's soul on its journey through the Duat, the underworld, to emerge reborn among the stars. The sheer precision required in cutting and placing the stones, particularly the casing stones that will give the pyramid its smooth, gleaming surface, speaks to this sacred geometry. You hear stories of the pharaoh's immense power, his divine lineage, his ability to command the very forces of nature. You see the wealth that flows into the project, the finest linen for the overseers, the constant supply of food, the skilled craftsmen brought from distant lands. This wealth is a manifestation of the pharaoh's divine blessing, a sign of his favor from the gods. Sometimes you catch a glimpse of the pharaoh himself, or at least his retinue, visiting the site. He is a distant, majestic figure, surrounded by guards and courtiers, his presence radiating immense power. You bow your head, along with thousands of others, in silent reverence. This is the God-King for whom you toil, the living link between your mortal world and the immortal realm. The belief in the afterlife, so central to Egyptian culture, also fuels the work. You are told that by contributing to the pharaoh's eternal dwelling, you secure your own place in the afterlife, a small share in the divine favor. This promise of immortality, however distant, provides a powerful motivation, a reason to endure the hardship, to push through the pain. As the pyramid grows, course by agonizing course, you feel a strange sense of participation in something truly monumental, something that will stand for thousands of years, a testament to the power of belief and the collective will of a civilization. You are Kensu, a humble farmer, but through your labor, You are helping to build a bridge to eternity, a monument to the divine will of the pharaoh, and by extension, to the very order of the cosmos. Your life as a pyramid builder, though seemingly divorced from the land, remains intrinsically linked to the ancient rhythms of the Nile, and the agricultural seasons you once knew so well. The great work, immense as it is, cannot entirely escape the natural cycles that govern Kemet. The most significant of these is the annual inundation of the Nile. You remember it from your village. The gentle swelling of the river in late summer, the slow creep of the life-giving waters over the fields, depositing rich, black silt. At the pyramid site, the inundation brings a temporary, yet crucial, halt to certain types of labor. The quarries, often located near the river or in areas that become waterlogged, become inaccessible. The paths for transporting stones, if too close to the floodplains, turn into impassable mud. During the height of the inundation, many laborers, particularly those from nearby villages like yours, are often released to return home. This is a time of immense relief, a brief, precious reprieve from the relentless grind of the pyramid. You cherish these moments, returning to your family, helping with the initial planting in the newly fertilized fields, and reconnecting with the familiar scents and sounds of your village. It is a time to heal your aching muscles, to eat your mother's cooking, and to remember the life that awaits you when the great work is done. For some, this return is permanent. They find ways to avoid the next call for labor, though such evasion is risky. For most, however, it is merely a temporary furlough. When the floodwaters recede, leaving behind the fertile mud, the call comes again. You return to the pyramid site, often with a fresh wave of recruits, their faces mirroring the apprehension you felt on your first journey. The work resumes with renewed vigor, driven by the urgency to complete the pharaoh's eternal home before the next flood. The seasons also dictate the type of labor. During the dry season, the quarries are at their most active, as the stone is easier to extract and transport across the parched desert. This is when the massive blocks are moved, when the ramps are built and extended, and when the core masonry rises steadily. The heat is intense, the sun a constant, oppressive force, but the ground is firm, allowing for the movement of colossal weights. During the cooler months, or when the quarries are less accessible, the focus shifts to other tasks. You might be assigned to the finishing work, smoothing the surfaces of the casing stones, polishing them to a brilliant sheen, or helping with the intricate work inside the chambers. You might assist the sculptors and artists, carrying their tools or preparing their pigments, catching glimpses of the exquisite hieroglyphs and vibrant murals that will adorn the pharaoh's resting place. This work, though less physically demanding in some ways, requires immense precision and patience. You learn to read the sky, not just for the time of day, but for the subtle shifts that herald the changing seasons. The rising of the star Sirius, the harbinger of the Nile flood, is a moment of both anticipation and dread. It means a temporary respite, but also the knowledge that the cycle will soon begin anew. The rhythm of the work is also influenced by the supply chain. You see barges arriving on the Nile, laden with provisions, tools, and sometimes, the prized granite from Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south. The coordination of these supplies, ensuring that thousands of men are fed and equipped, is a logistical marvel, a testament to the efficiency of the pharaoh's administration. Despite the harshness, there is a strange beauty in this seasonal rhythm. The desert, though unforgiving, offers breathtaking sunsets and star-filled nights. The sheer scale of the human effort, synchronized with the natural world, creates a powerful sense of purpose. You are not just a worker, you are part of a grand, ancient dance between humanity and the forces of nature, all in service of a divine will. You are Kensu, and your life is now a testament to the enduring power of the Nile, the sun, and the unyielding stone. In the harsh, unforgiving environment of the pyramid construction site, amidst the dust, the sweat, and the relentless labor, you discover a profound truth: you are not alone. The thousands of men toiling alongside you, though from diverse villages and speaking varied dialects, form a unique brotherhood, a bond forged in shared hardship and collective purpose. This is the Brotherhood of the Stone. Your immediate family on the site is your work gang. The strong bulls. Hori, your foreman, is a stern taskmaster, but fair. He pushes you to your limits, but he also ensures you receive your rations, that your tools are sharp, and that you are not left behind if you falter. He has seen many men come and go, and his weathered eyes hold a quiet understanding of the toll the work takes. Within the gang, you learn to rely on each other. When a block is too heavy, when a rope slips, when a man stumbles, a dozen hands reach out to steady, to pull, to support. You learn to anticipate the movements of your fellow workers, to synchronize your efforts without a spoken word, a silent ballet of coordinated strength. Menkor, the quiet one, often shares his extra piece of bread. Imhotep, the boisterous one, tells jokes that, though crude, bring much-needed laughter to tired faces. You learn to trust them with your life, for a moment's inattention, a lapse in coordination, could mean injury or death for any of you. Beyond your immediate gang, the camaraderie extends to the wider community of laborers. In the evenings, around communal fires, men from different gangs and different regions mingle. You hear stories of their homes, their families, their gods. You learn snippets of new dialects, exchange techniques for handling tools, and share complaints about the overseers or the monotony of the food. There's a shared understanding that transcends social status or origin. Everyone here is bound by the same monumental task. You witness acts of kindness and solidarity. When a man is injured, his gang members will carry him to the healers, and sometimes they will share their rations with his family back home if word reaches them. When a new recruit struggles, older, more experienced workers will offer quiet advice or a steadying hand. There's an unspoken code, a mutual respect born from the shared experience of pushing the limits of human endurance. There are, of course, conflicts. Tempers fray under the relentless sun and constant fatigue. Arguments erupt over food, over space in the tents, over perceived slights. But these rarely escalate into lasting feuds. The demands of the work, the need for cooperation, quickly bring men back into line. Survival depends on unity. You also observe the social structures within the brotherhood. The skilled masons, sculptors, and carpenters, though fewer in number, are highly respected. Their precision and artistry are vital to the project, and they often work in smaller, more specialized teams, their tools and techniques guarded secrets passed down through generations. You watch them with awe, their hands transforming rough stone into smooth, perfect surfaces, or carving intricate hieroglyphs that will speak to eternity. Even the overseers, though often harsh, are part of this system. They are responsible for meeting quotas, for maintaining order, and for ensuring the continuous flow of work. Their authority is absolute on the site, but they too are bound by the pharaoh's will and the demands of the project. You learn to respect their authority, even as you resent their whips. The shared experience of building the pyramid creates a powerful sense of collective identity. You are no longer just Kensu, the farmer's son from a small village. You are Kensu, a pyramid builder, a member of the vast workforce that is raising a mountain for a god. This shared identity transcends the individual, providing a sense of purpose and belonging that is both comforting and awe-inspiring. As the years pass, and the pyramid grows taller, you see men age, their bodies becoming more stooped, their faces more weathered. You see young men arrive, full of nervous energy, and gradually transform into seasoned veterans, their eyes holding the same quiet understanding as Hori's. You are part of a continuous flow of humanity, each generation contributing its strength to the same eternal project. The Brotherhood of the Stone is a silent testament to human resilience, cooperation, and the enduring power of a shared vision. It is in this camaraderie, amidst the dust and the sun, that you find not just survival, but a deeper connection to your fellow men, a bond as strong and as lasting as the stones you lay. The great work is not merely arduous, it is perilous. Every day, as you step onto the construction site, you walk a tightrope between life and death, your existence precarious, your fate often determined by a slip of a foot, a frayed rope, or a moment's inattention. The dangers are manifold, and the dead are a constant, grim reminder of the price of monumental ambition. The most immediate threat comes from the stones themselves. A single misstep while moving a massive block can crush a limb, or worse, a life. You witness it often, a rope snapping under strain, sending men tumbling, a block shifting unexpectedly on a ramp, pinning a worker beneath its immense weight. The screams are brief, quickly swallowed by the cacophony of the sight, and the body is swiftly removed, replaced by another eager hand. You learn to be constantly vigilant, to watch your footing, to check the ropes, to anticipate the movements of the stone. Your senses become acutely attuned to the subtle creaks and groans of the timber, the shifting of the ground, the warning shouts of your comrades. Falls from height are another ever-present danger. As the pyramid rises, so do the ramps, becoming steeper and more precarious. Men work on narrow ledges, balancing precariously as they guide blocks into place. A gust of wind, a moment of dizziness from the heat, or a simple miscalculation can send a man plummeting to his death, a broken heap at the base of the rising monument. You see them fall, sometimes in slow motion, sometimes a blur, and the impact echoes in your mind long after the sound has faded. The quarries themselves are treacherous. Rockfalls are common, sending cascades of stone tumbling down, burying unwary workers. The air is thick with dust, a constant irritant to your lungs, leading to chronic coughs and shortness of breath among older workers. The tools, though simple, can inflict grievous wounds. A misplaced hammer blow, a chisel slipping, a sharp shard of stone flying into an eye. Beyond the immediate physical dangers, the elements are a relentless adversary. The scorching sun causes heat stroke, leaving men delirious, dehydrated, and sometimes dead. The lack of clean water, despite the best efforts of the administration, can lead to debilitating diseases like dysentery, weakening bodies already pushed to their limits. Infections from even minor cuts and scrapes can fester in the hot, dusty environment, turning a small wound into a life-threatening condition. You see men waste away, their strength draining, their eyes losing their light, until they are carried away, never to return to the work. The system for dealing with the dead is efficient, if impersonal. When a man dies on the site, his body is quickly removed. If he is from a nearby village, his family may be notified, and his body returned for burial. For those from distant lands, or those with no one to claim them, they are often buried in unmarked graves in the desert surrounding the site, their names lost to the sands, their sacrifices absorbed into the fabric of the pyramid. You witness these removals, the solemnity of the moment often overshadowed by the urgent need to keep the work moving. There is no time for prolonged mourning, the pharaoh's will is paramount. You learn that the overseers keep meticulous records of the workforce, noting those who are injured, those who are sick, and those who die. These records, though cold and statistical, are a testament to the human cost of the great work. Yet, despite the dangers, despite the constant presence of death, the work continues. New recruits arrive, their faces fresh with hope and fear, eager to fill the gaps left by those who have fallen. This constant proximity to death instills in you a grim fatalism, but also a heightened awareness of life. You learn to appreciate the simple things, a cool sip of water, the shade of a rock, a shared laugh with a comrade. You become more attuned to your own body, its limits, its resilience. You understand that each sunrise is a gift, each sunset a small victory. You are Kensu, and you have seen the dead. You have felt the breath of danger on your neck. Yet you continue to labor, a testament to your own strength, to the bonds of your brotherhood, and to the unwavering belief in the divine purpose that drives the colossal, perilous undertaking of the pyramid. The stones demand a price, and many pay it, but the monument rises, course by agonizing course, towards the eternal sky. Amidst the relentless grind of the pyramid construction, there exist precious, fleeting moments of respite. These are not grand celebrations, but small, quiet pauses that offer a temporary escape from the dust and the toil, allowing for reflection and a brief reconnection with the inner self. You learn to cherish these fragments of time, for they are the breath between the heavy pulls of the rope, the calm before the next stone. One such moment comes with the setting of the sun. After the final, weary march back to the camp, as the sky explodes in a riot of fiery colors, you often find yourself sitting outside your tent, watching the vast, silent canvas of the desert. The air cools, a gentle breeze stirring the sand. The pyramid, now a dark, imposing silhouette against the fading light, seems to absorb the last vestiges of the day's heat. In these moments, the cacophony of the camp softens into a distant hum, and you can almost hear the silence of the ancient land. You trace the rising lines of the pyramid with your eyes, a strange sense of awe mingling with your exhaustion. You are building this. Your hands are shaping this mountain. Another form of respite comes in the shared meals. Though the food is monotonous, the act of eating together, sharing the meager portions with your gang, fosters a profound sense of community. There are quiet conversations, sometimes laughter, sometimes just the comfortable silence of men too tired for words. You learn to appreciate the taste of the coarse bread, the sweetness of an onion, the satisfying warmth of the beer. These are not feasts, but they are sustenance, not just for the body, but for the spirit. On rare occasions, perhaps a feast day or a significant milestone in the construction, there might be a larger, more organized celebration. Extra rations of meat, finer beer, and perhaps even a small portion of fruit might be distributed. Storytellers and musicians might be brought in from nearby towns, their performances drawing large crowds. In these moments, the weight of the work lifts, if only for a few hours. You see men dance, hear their songs, and feel a surge of shared joy and camaraderie that reminds you of the vibrant life beyond the pyramid. For you, Kensu, moments of reflection often come under the vast, star-filled desert sky. Back in your village, the stars were familiar, a comforting blanket. Here, away from the light pollution of settlements, they are impossibly bright, a dazzling tapestry of light. You remember the tales your grandmother told you of the gods dwelling among the stars, of Osiris and Isis, of the pharaoh's journey to join them. You ponder the sheer scale of the universe, and the equally immense scale of the pyramid you are building, a human attempt to reach that celestial realm. In these moments, your own smallness is both humbling and strangely empowering. You are a tiny speck, yet you are part of something eternal. Sometimes, you find a quiet corner to sit alone, away from the chatter of the tent. You might pull out the small, dried fig your mother gave you, turning it over in your calloused fingers. It is a tangible link to your home, to the gentle rhythms of the Nile, to the family you left behind. You think of your mother's smile, your father's quiet strength, your siblings' innocent faces. You wonder what they are doing, if they think of you, if they are proud of the work you are doing. The longing for home can be a sharp ache, but it is also a source of strength, a reminder of why you endure. These moments of respite, however brief, are vital. They allow your body to recover, your mind to wander, and your spirit to find solace. They are the small oases in the vast desert of your labor, allowing you to return to the stone with renewed, if temporary, resolve. You are Kensu, and in these quiet moments you are more than just a builder. You are a man, reflecting on his place in a world of gods, pharaohs, and endless stone. While your days are consumed by the brute force of quarrying and transporting stone, you are constantly aware of another, more refined world of labor within the pyramid complex, that of the skilled craftsmen. These individuals, masters of their respective arts, represent the pinnacle of Egyptian technical and artistic prowess, their work transforming mere stone into enduring beauty and sacred meaning. You often observe them during your brief breaks or as you pass through their designated workshops. The masons are the most numerous and perhaps the most crucial of the skilled workers. Unlike your rough shaping in the quarry, their work is about precision. You watch them with awe as they take the roughly hewn blocks and, with meticulous care, use finer copper chisels, dolerite pounding stones, and abrasive sands to achieve perfectly flat surfaces and exact angles. They use plumb bows, set squares, and measuring ropes to ensure every block fits seamlessly with its neighbors, creating a structure of incredible accuracy. Their hands, though also callous, possess a delicate touch, guiding the tools with an almost surgical precision. They are the true architects of the pyramid's form. Then there are the sculptors, who work both on the massive statues that will adorn the temple complexes around the pyramid and on the intricate carvings within the burial chambers. You see them sketching designs on the stone, then slowly, patiently, bringing figures to life from the unyielding rock. Their tools are varied, heavy mallets for roughing out the shape, finer chisels for details, and abrasive powders for smoothing. They create the majestic likenesses of the pharaoh, the serene figures of the gods, and the detailed scenes of daily life that will accompany the ruler into the afterlife. Their ability to imbue cold stone with such lifelike form and profound symbolism seems almost magical. The painters and artists are a vibrant presence, their workshops filled with the earthy sense of pigments and binders. They work on the interior walls of the pyramid's passages and chambers, preparing the surfaces with plaster before applying vibrant colors derived from minerals and plants. You watch them meticulously render hieroglyphs, scenes of the pharaoh's life and triumphs, and depictions of the gods and the underworld. Their work is not just decorative, it is narrative, telling the story of the pharaoh's journey to eternity, ensuring his successful rebirth. The colors they use, though muted by the dust of the site, are brilliant and enduring, designed to last for millennia. The carpenters are essential for creating the vast array of wooden tools, sledges, rollers, and scaffolding required for the construction. Their workshops are filled with the scent of cedar and acacia, the rhythmic sound of saws and adzes. They fashion the massive timbers that support the ramps, the intricate frames for the burial chambers, and the precise measuring tools used by the masons. Their skill in joining and shaping wood is vital, for a weak joint or a faulty roller could spell disaster. You also catch glimpses of the metalworkers, tending their fiery forges, hammering copper and bronze into chisels, saws, and other tools. Their work is fundamental, providing the very instruments that allow the other craftsmen to ply their trades. These skilled craftsmen often live in slightly better quarters, receive more varied rations, and command a higher status than the general laborers. They are literate, often able to read and write hieroglyphs, and possess specialized knowledge passed down through apprenticeships. They are the intellectual backbone of the project, translating the grand vision of the architects and priests into tangible reality. Watching them, you feel a mixture of awe and a quiet sense of distance. Your hands are for brute force, for moving mountains. Theirs are for shaping, for detailing, for bringing beauty and meaning to the stone. Yet you understand that your work is inextricably linked to theirs. Without the raw material you provide, without the sheer force of your collective labor, their artistry would have no canvas. You are Kensu, the muscle, the anonymous hand. But you are also an observer, learning, absorbing, understanding the intricate dance between raw power and refined skill that is building this monument to eternity. The pyramid is a testament not just to the pharaoh's might, but to the collective genius and diverse talents of all the people of Kemet, from the lowliest laborer to the most skilled artisan. As the years pass, the pyramid rises, a colossal testament to human will and divine purpose. But within you, Kensu, another kind of season unfolds, the seasons of the soul, marked by cycles of longing for home and the enduring flicker of hope. The longing for home is a constant companion, a dull ache that sharpens with each passing moon. You remember the gentle lapping of the Nile against the banks of your village, the familiar scent of your mother's cooking, the laughter of your younger siblings playing in the dust. You recall the quiet satisfaction of working your own small plot of land, the predictable rhythm of sowing and reaping, a life where the horizon was not dominated by an artificial mountain of stone, but by the endless expanse of fertile fields. Letters, rare and precious, sometimes arrive from the scribes who manage communication. They are brief, formal updates, often read aloud by a literate overseer. You hear news of your family's health, of good harvests or lean ones, of births and deaths. Each word is a lifeline, a fragile thread connecting you to the world you left behind. You cling to these words, replaying them in your mind, trying to conjure the faces of your loved ones. The absence of personal touch, of a familiar voice, makes the longing even more acute. You see other men succumb to this longing. Some fall ill, their bodies weaken not just by labor but by a profound homesickness. Others simply disappear, risking the harsh desert and the wrath of the overseers to make the long, dangerous journey back to their villages. You understand their desperation, the pull of family and familiar land. But you also know the consequences of desertion, severe punishment if caught, and the shame of abandoning your sacred duty. You, Kensu, remain? Your father's words, "Return to us when the work is done," echo in your mind, a promise you are determined to keep. Yet, alongside this longing, there is hope. Hope for the day the work will finally be complete. Hope for the moment you will walk back into your village, a man transformed, a builder of the pharaoh's eternal home. This hope is a quiet, persistent flame, fueled by the slow, steady progress of the pyramid itself. Each course of stone laid, each ramp completed, brings that distant future a little closer. You find hope in the small victories, the successful movement of a particularly stubborn block, the perfect fit of a casing stone, the completion of a section of the inner passages. These achievements, though collective, offer a sense of personal accomplishment, a tangible sign that your efforts are contributing to something real and lasting. The camaraderie of your fellow workers also provides hope. In the shared stories, the crude jokes, the quiet moments of solidarity, you find a sense of belonging, a temporary family forged in hardship. You see their resilience, their determination, and it strengthens your own. You are all in this together, bound by the stone and the sun, working towards a common, monumental goal. And then there is the divine purpose. The belief that your labor is sacred, that it contributes to Ma'at, the cosmic order, offers a profound sense of meaning. You are not just moving rocks. You are helping the pharaoh ascend to the stars, ensuring the prosperity of Kemet for generations to come. This spiritual dimension elevates your suffering, transforming it into a noble sacrifice. It provides a deeper, more enduring hope that transcends your personal longing. As the pyramid nears completion, the atmosphere in the camp subtly shifts. The urgency intensifies, but so does the sense of anticipation. The final casing stones are being placed, polished to a blinding white that reflects the sun like a beacon. The capstone, rumored to be covered in gold, awaits its ascent to the very apex. The end is in sight. You are Kensu, a man shaped by stone and sun, by longing and hope. You have endured years of toil, faced danger, and witnessed death. But you have also found strength in brotherhood, purpose in belief, and a quiet determination to see the great work through. The day of your return draws nearer, and with it, the promise of a life redefined by the monumental task you have helped to accomplish. The years have blurred into a relentless cycle of sun, stone, and sweat. You are no longer the naive young man who first arrived at the pyramid site. Your body is harder, scarred, and your eyes hold the quiet, knowing weariness of one who has seen too much toil. But the pyramid, your monumental companion for so long, is finally nearing completion. The last casing stones gleam blindingly white against the desert sky, and only the capstone, a golden beacon, awaits its final ascent. Then comes the whisper, growing into a murmur, then a joyous roar. The inundation! The great inundation is here! This year, the flood of the Nile is particularly strong, a sign of divine favor, and it brings with it the long-awaited signal. The main phase of the construction is complete. The pharaoh's eternal home stands ready. The command comes from the highest overseers. The general laborers are to be released. A wave of exhilaration, almost dizzying in its intensity, sweeps through the camp. Men shout, embrace, and weep openly. The years of longing, the months of grinding labor, the constant presence of danger, all culminate in this single, glorious moment of release. You gather your meager belongings, your worn linen tunic, your water skin, and the shriveled fig, now a symbol of your endurance. Hori, your foreman, gives you a rare, almost imperceptible smile, a nod of respect. You worked well, Kensu, he says, his voice gruff but sincere. Go home. The journey back to your village is different from your arrival. This time, you are part of a joyous, triumphant procession. The men are lighter, their steps more buoyant, their voices filled with song and laughter. You are no longer recruits, but veterans, pyramid builders, men who have touched eternity. You share stories of your experiences, the horrors and the small triumphs, the bonds forged in the crucible of the work. As you walk, you notice the landscape with new eyes. The familiar fields, now glistening with the receding floodwaters, seem impossibly green, vibrant with life. The scent of damp earth and growing plants is a balm to your dust-choked lungs. The small, familiar details of the villages you pass fill you with a profound sense of anticipation. Finally, after days of walking, you see it, the familiar cluster of mud brick homes, the smoke curling from the cooking fires, the distant sound of children's laughter. Your heart leaps into your throat. You break into a run, your weary legs finding a sudden burst of energy. The village dogs bark, children point, and then your mother. She stands at the doorway of your home, her hair streaked with more gray, her face more lined, but her eyes, when they meet yours, are filled with an overwhelming flood of recognition and love. She rushes towards you, her arms open, and you are enveloped in the familiar scent of her, the comforting warmth of her embrace. Your father emerges, his face breaking into a rare smile. He grips your shoulder, his calloused hand meeting yours, a silent acknowledgement of the man you have become. Your younger siblings, now taller, stare at you with wide, curious eyes, seeing not just their brother, but a legend, a pyramid builder. The village gathers, welcoming you and the other returning men as heroes. You are offered the finest food, the freshest beer. You sit by the fire, recounting your tales, the scale of the pyramid, the dangers, the brotherhood. You speak of the pharaoh's divine will, of the sacred purpose of the work, and of the enduring power of the stone. Your body aches, but it is a different kind of ache now, a satisfying tiredness that speaks of accomplishment. Your hands, once soft, are now scarred and hardened, a permanent testament to the years of labor. Your mind, once focused on the simple rhythms of the farm, now holds the vastness of the desert, the majesty of the rising pyramid, and the profound understanding of human ambition. You are Kensu, the farmer's son, returned home. But you are also Kensu, the pyramid builder, a man who has helped to raise a mountain for a god, a man who has touched eternity. Your life has been irrevocably changed by the stone and the sun, and you carry the weight and the glory of the great work within you, forever. The Nile continues its timeless flow, the seasons turn, and you, Kensu, are now a part of the enduring story of Kemet. The initial euphoria of returning home, the joyous reunion with your family, and the admiration of your village slowly give way to the quieter, more enduring realities of life after the pyramid. You are home, yes, but you are not the same Kensu who left years ago. The stone, the sun, and the relentless toil have left their indelible marks, physical and otherwise. These are the scars of the stone. Physically, your body bears the most obvious testament to your years of labor. Your back, once merely aching after a long day in the fields, now carries a persistent, dull throb, a legacy of lifting and pulling colossal weights. Your shoulders are permanently broadened, your muscles dense and corded, but your joints often creak with a stiffness that belies your relatively young age. Your hands, once merely calloused, are now a roadmap of scars, cuts, and thickened skin, a permanent record of every rope that bit, every chisel that slipped, every rough surface you gripped. The dust of the quarry seems to have settled permanently in your lungs, leaving you with a persistent, dry cough, particularly in the cooler months. Your eyes, accustomed to the glare of the desert, are more sensitive to the gentle light of the village, and you find yourself squinting even in familiar surroundings. You try to resume your life as a farmer, returning to the fields with your father and siblings. But the rhythm feels different. The gentle work of planting and harvesting, once fulfilling, now seems slow, almost trivial, compared to the monumental scale of the pyramid. Your strength, once perfectly suited to the land, now feels almost too much for the delicate tasks of tending crops. You find yourself instinctively bracing for a heavy lift that never comes, or scanning the horizon for the dust clouds of approaching stone. Sleep, too, is different. You are no longer lulled by the gentle sounds of the village. Instead, your dreams are often filled with the cacophony of the construction site, the shouts of the foreman, the rhythmic thud of mallets, the grating sound of stone against stone. You wake suddenly, your heart pounding, convinced you hear the creak of a straining rope or the distant crack of a falling block. The silence of your home, once comforting, now sometimes feels unnerving, too still after the constant hum of thousands of men. Mentally, you carry a different kind of burden. The casual attitude towards death on the site, the swift removal of bodies, the constant proximity to danger, these experiences have hardened you. You find yourself less prone to fear, more stoic in the face of hardship. But this stoicism sometimes translates into a quiet detachment, a difficulty in fully re-engaging with the smaller joys and sorrows of village life. Your family notices it, the subtle shift in your gaze, the moments of distant contemplation when you seem to be reliving something they cannot comprehend. You find yourself drawn to the other returning pyramid builders in your village, or those in nearby communities. There's an unspoken understanding between you, a shared language of experience that others cannot fully grasp. You nod to each other, a silent acknowledgement of the unique brotherhood you share, a bond forged in the crucible of the great work. You might gather occasionally, sharing tales, comparing scars, finding solace in the company of those who truly understand. The pride in your accomplishment, however, remains. When the traveling merchants or curious visitors pass through your village, they speak of the new, magnificent pyramid, the tallest ever built. You listen, a quiet satisfaction swelling within you. You know its every angle, its every course of stone, its every hidden passage. You know the sweat and blood that went into its creation. You are a part of that eternal monument, a silent, living testament to the pharaoh's will. But this pride is tempered by the lingering aches, the persistent cough, the restless nights. The pyramid has given you a purpose, a story, a place in history. But it has also taken a piece of you, leaving behind the enduring, silent scars of the stone. You are Kensu, the farmer, the pyramid builder, forever marked by the colossal ambition you helped to achieve. Years pass, and your body, though still strong, begins to feel the cumulative weight of the pyramid years more acutely. The persistent cough deepens, and the aches in your joints become more insistent. You realize that the relentless physical demands of farming, while familiar, are now too much for your body to bear indefinitely. But your years at the pyramid site have also given you something invaluable, an intimate, practical knowledge of stone, of construction, of the logistics of monumental projects. You understand the nuances of quarrying, the mechanics of transport, the precision required in laying courses. You know the signs of a good cut, a strong rope, a stable ramp. You have an eye for detail, honed by years of ensuring every block was placed correctly, every joint tight. One day, a royal scribe arrives in your village, not to call for labor, but to seek out those who have returned from the great work. He is looking for men with experience, men who understand the intricacies of large-scale construction. He is looking for inspectors. Years pass, and your body, though still strong, begins to feel the cumulative weight of the pyramid years more acutely. The persistent cough deepens, and the aches in your joints become more insistent. You realize that the relentless physical demands of farming, while familiar, are now too much for your body to bear indefinitely. But your years at the pyramid site have also given you something invaluable, an intimate, practical knowledge of stone, of construction, of the logistics of monumental projects. You understand the nuances of quarrying, the mechanics of transport, the precision required in laying courses. You know the signs of a good cut, a strong rope, a stable ramp. You have an eye for detail, honed by years of ensuring every block was placed correctly, every joint tight. One day, a royal scribe arrives in your village, not to call for labor, but to seek out those who have returned from the great work. He is looking for men with experience, men who understand the intricacies of large-scale construction. He is looking for inspectors. You are hesitant at first. The thought of returning to the desert, even in a different capacity, stirs old anxieties. But the opportunity is compelling. It offers a chance to use your hard-won knowledge, to provide for your family without breaking your body further. Your father, seeing the weariness in your eyes, encourages you. Your hands have learned a new skill, Kensu, he says. Use it. You are selected, along with a few other seasoned pyramid builders from neighboring villages. The training is brief, focusing on record-keeping, measurement techniques, and the specific standards of quality expected by the royal administration. You learn to read basic hieroglyphs for numbers and measurements, a skill that sets you apart from most common laborers. Your new role is that of an inspector for the pharaoh's building projects. You are assigned to various sites across Kemet, though none are as grand as the pyramid you helped build. You might oversee the construction of a new temple, the expansion of a granary, or the repair of an irrigation canal. Your job is to ensure that the work is being done correctly, that the materials are of good quality, and that the laborers are working efficiently. You travel more now, seeing parts of Kemet you never knew existed. You witness the diverse landscapes, the different customs of remote villages. You stay in small inns, or with local officials, your status now elevated beyond that of a mere farmer. You carry a measuring rope, a plumb bob, and a small slate for notes, symbols of your new authority. On the construction sites, you walk among the laborers, your eyes sharp, observing every detail. You see the young men, fresh-faced and eager, their bodies still unscarred by the stone. You see the older, grizzled workers, their movements slow but precise, their faces etched with the same weariness you once knew. You recognize the familiar sounds, the smells, the rhythm of the work. You are fair but firm. You understand the challenges of the labor, the exhaustion, the dangers. You remember what it was like to be on the other side of the whip. You correct mistakes, suggest more efficient methods, and ensure that the workers are treated justly, within the confines of the system. You speak to the foreman with authority, but also with a quiet understanding that only comes from shared experience. They respect you, recognizing the silent language of the stone in your eyes. Sometimes you encounter men from your old gang, the strong bulls. There are warm greetings, shared memories, and a quiet pride in seeing each other in new roles. You are all survivors, bound by a common past. This new purpose brings a different kind of satisfaction. You are no longer just a hand, a muscle in the grand machine. You are an eye, a mind, ensuring the quality and integrity of the Pharaoh's works. You are contributing in a new way, using the knowledge gained from your years of hardship. The scars on your hands are no longer just marks of toil. They are badges of experience, symbols of the wisdom you have gained. You are Kensu, the farmer, the pyramid builder, and now, the inspector. Your life has taken an unexpected turn, guided by the very stone you once labored to move. You are still serving Kemet, still contributing to its enduring legacy, but now, you do so with an understanding born from the deepest depths of the great work. Decades roll by, like the slow, relentless current of the Nile. Your hair, once black as the richest silt, is now streaked with white, and your steps, though still steady, are slower, more deliberate. The cough from the quarry dust has become a constant companion, and the aches in your joints are a familiar chorus. You are an old man now, Kensu, a respected elder in your village, your hands still bearing the indelible marks of the stone. You have long since retired from your duties as an inspector, your knowledge passed on to younger, stronger men. Your days are spent in the quiet rhythm of the village, watching your children and grandchildren play in the fields, their lives untouched by the monumental labor that defines so much of your own. You tell them stories, not just of the harvest and the gods, but of the great work, of the colossal stones, of the thousands of men, of the Pharaoh's divine ambition. They listen with wide, awestruck eyes, trying to imagine a world so different from their own. Sometimes, when the air is clear and the sun is setting, you walk to the edge of the village, your gaze fixed on the western horizon. There, against the fading light, stands the pyramid. Not the half-formed, dusty mound you first saw, but a gleaming, perfect mountain, its casing stones still reflecting the sun's last rays with blinding brilliance. It is a beacon, a monument, a silent sentinel watching over Kemet. You remember every detail of its construction, the sweat that poured into its foundations, the rhythmic chant of the pullers, the precise click of each stone settling into place. You remember the faces of your comrades, the brotherhood forged in shared suffering. You remember the dangers, the men who fell, their lives absorbed into the very fabric of the monument. You remember the overwhelming sense of purpose, the belief that you were building a stairway to the heavens for a living God. The pharaoh for whom you toiled has long since joined Osiris in the Duat, his name now etched in history, his legacy secured by the very structure you helped to build. Other pharaohs have risen and fallen, other monuments have been conceived and constructed, but none, you believe, will ever quite match the scale and ambition of your pyramid. You reflect on the strange trajectory of your life. You were born a farmer, destined for the fields. But the call of the pharaoh, the lure of the stone, pulled you into a different path. You became a builder, a mover of mountains, a part of something eternal. And then, an inspector, using your hard-won experience to ensure the integrity of Kemet's future works. The pyramid is your legacy. Not a legacy of wealth or power, but a legacy of effort, of contribution, of being a part of something truly grand. Your name, Kensu, may not be carved on its polished walls, but your sweat, your strength, your very essence, are woven into its colossal structure. You are one of the countless, anonymous hands that raised it, a silent testament to the collective will of a civilization. As the stars emerge, impossibly bright in the desert sky, you think of the pharaoh's journey, his soul ascending along the pyramid's invisible stairway. And you feel a quiet satisfaction. You helped him on his way. You fulfilled your duty. The sands of time continue to blow, slowly eroding the edges of the desert, but the pyramid stands firm, a timeless symbol of Kemet's enduring power and the human spirit's boundless ambition. And you, Kensu, are a part of that story, a living memory of the men who built eternity, one stone at a time. Your life has been a testament to the might of the pharaoh, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring power of the stone and the sun.